policies. Raise your hand if you think President Trump's policies on the economy would be better for your family personally.
What's up, guys? Boy Benny. So story time here. I used to live in Washington, D.C. I lived in a very poor part of Washington, D.C. In fact, I lived next to a bunch of drug dealers, and it's all I could afford, and I just gotten married, and so that's the best we could do, right? And there was this young drug dealer at the end of the block. His name was Wellington, and he came running down the block one day. We were friendly with everybody in our neighborhood. Came running down the block one day, so excited he nearly jumped into my arms. He's a pretty big dude, all right? He's a big dude. Wellington was a felon. Wellington had kids out of wedlock. Wellington sold drugs for a living, okay? Broken family, just a tale as old as time, right? Wellington nearly jumps into my arms, all like 300 pounds of him, with excitement, carrying an apron. And he had an apron with him, and that apron was a very iconic, sort of mauve color, the Denny's logo. And Wellington had gotten his first job ever as a host at Denny's. He sat people down to eat late night drunk food, pancakes, eggs, and bacon. And this is what Wellington did. He got like a corporate paycheck, and he started getting money like into his 401k. He started like Denny's actually like sets their people up pretty well, and it's good brand. And anyway, they took care of Wellington. This was during the Trump years. And it was during like this Trump economic boom where there was like they couldn't find enough workers to fill all the jobs because the economy was roaring. Unemployment was like at zero, like effectively. Anyway, what's the point of this story? As soon as COVID hit, and then after into Joe Biden, before my family got the hell out of DC, Wellington lost his job. They shut down the Denny's, and he destroyed that young man's happiness, his purpose, I guess, if you can really call it that. And it's really sad. It was really unbelievably sad to see. It'll stick with me for the rest of my life because I had never lived in a neighborhood like that, and I'd never seen it up close like that. The economy and the ability to project optimism for the country and a future for the country is such an important thing that a leader does. And it's something that is critical in our current environment where we are facing so many challenges. Joe Biden does not project any type of leadership. Joe Biden does not project any type of optimism. Joe Biden projects depression. He is a depressing figure. People aren't happy when they meet Joe Biden. They're sad after they meet Joe Biden. And if he's come up behind you and sniffed you, then you're extra sad. This is why independents say Biden is a greater threat to democracy than Trump. This is why independents are turning on Joe Biden, along with young people, black people, Hispanic people, and all people. Because Joe Biden is a depressing figure. He's made life arguably worse in every arena, ladies and gentlemen. And it's wild to see. Independent voters are not buying the establishment media's claim that former President Donald Trump is a greater threat to democracy than Joe Biden. They're able to look down at their grocery bills, their gas bills, and their ability to potentially buy a house or live out the American dream and say, nope, actually the threat to democracy is you Marxist jackal. A majority of independents found that Biden is a greater threat to democracy than Trump. Biden 53, Trump 42%. Sampled 1,200 Americans, April 2022 to 24, 3.6 margin of error. I find it shocking, says MSNBC commentator Susan Del Pircio said. I can't make any sense of that number. I wish I could. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty obvious when you look at what people live with day in and day out inside of the Biden regime. It's interesting to see the freak out inside of the bubble. Here we go.
Interesting in this polling was more independents said that they worry about President Biden weakening democracy than Trump, 53% to 42%. What do you make of this?
I find it shocking, honestly. I can't, make sense of that number. I wish I could. I wish I had some really great insight to it. But I don't know if it's an outlier or not, because the other numbers with independents and Biden are going in the right direction. So that may be it. But also, just one thing I wanted to add on to what Basil said. This trial's not on TV. You guys do a great job reporting what's happening. But if there aren't those images coming out of the courthouse, people feel like they know this story. we've heard about it for a long time. So it doesn't surprise me that they're not interested.
Well, thank you both so much for being here. Basil Michael, Susan Del Percio.
Okay.
It's nice to see you.
So I can't make sense of it. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this lady. Look at this. Look at her face. Look at how her face resets. Look at that. Oh, the rosy-cheeked face of fascism. They don't care about you. She can't make sense of it. The polls are going in the right direction. Which poll, idiot? Which poll? Trump ties Biden with suburban women. Massive setback for a Democrat president. Of course, we've shown you all the polling with young people. How Donald Trump's winning young people. Obviously, for the example I just gave you, Wellington is most likely, drug dealer Wellington is most likely voting for Trump. Political realignment, upending Joe Biden's 2024 coalition. Poll shows. Oh no. What poll is this? Yeah, this one. Black supporters collapsing. Latino support collapsing. Check it out. Oh man. Oh man. So what's going on here? These guys who are actively destroying the country are upset that people have found out that they're actively destroying the country. MSNBC panel in disbelief. Shocked, in fact. Shocked that independents believe Joe Biden is a threat to democracy, a threat to our way of life. An interview with Joe Biden dropped last night, which was so hard to watch. Biden is blasted as clueless and out of touch for claiming Americans have the money to spend when told grocery prices are up 30% in rare sit-down interview on CNN of all places. Look at this. The classic Biden expression, like the gaping, gapping, open mouth, the squinty, beady little rat-like eyes. No confidence in Joe Biden. The polls say everybody believes that they had it better under Donald Trump. And Joe Biden just absolutely shocked when confronted. Look at this. What a perfect expression from Joe Biden. Joe Biden just stunned. I mean, literally gobsmacked. When hit with voters trust Trump on the economy, housing prices have doubled, real income is down, GDP is down, consumer confidence is down, everything is worse under your residency in the White House, you fraud. Listen to the way that Joe Biden responds. Oh man, it'll make your blood boil. We got to win this thing. If we don't win this thing, then, I mean, you just got to assume it, and you just got to assume everything's fake, right? Because there is no reason to vote for Joe Biden, okay? But he sure as hell doesn't give you a good reason to vote for Joe Biden in this interview. Watch.
So when you talk about the economy, of course, it is by far the most important issue for voters. It's also true right now, Mr. President, that voters by a wide margin trust Trump more on the economy. They say that in polls. And part of the reason for that may be the numbers. And you're aware of many of these, of course. The cost of buying a home in the United States is double what it was when you look at your monthly costs from before the pandemic. Real income, when you account for inflation, is actually down since you took office. Economic growth last week, far short of expectations. Consumer confidence, maybe no surprise, is near a 2-year low. With less than 6 months to go to Election Day, are you worried that you're running out of time to turn that around?
We've already turned it around. Look at the Michigan survey. For 65% of American people think they're in good shape economically. They think the nation's not in good shape, but they're personally in good shape. The polling data has been wrong all along. You know, how many, you guys do a poll with CNN, how many folks you have to call to get one response? The idea that we're in a situation where things are so bad, the folks that, I mean, we've created more jobs. We're in a situation where people have access to good paying jobs. And the last I saw, the combination of the inflation, the cost of inflation, all those things, that's really worrisome to people with good reason. That's why I'm working very hard to bring the cost of rentals down, to increase the number of homes that are available. But let me say it this way. When I started this administration, people were saying there's going to be a collapse of the economy. We have the strongest economy in the world. Let me say it again, in the world.
Although GDP last week was far short of expectations.
Oh, it wasn't. Look, GDP is still growing. Look at the response of the markets. Overwhelmingly positive. Overwhelmingly positive. And one of the reasons why people feel good about it not being as strong as it was before is they believe that the Fed's going to respond.
They hope they're going to get a rate cut.
Yeah. Well, so, but I mean, no president's had the run we've had in terms of creating jobs and bringing down inflation. It was 9% when I came to office. 9%. But look, People have a right to be concerned. Ordinary people, the idea that you bounce a check and you get a $30 fee for bouncing the check, might change that. You can't charge more than $8 for that. Or your credit card, your late payment, $35. I mean, there's corporate greed going on out there, and it's got to be dealt with.
You know, Tucker Carlson has a lot to say about this kind of stuff. You just have to be evil, right? You have to just be evil. To be so cruel to your own people, to be so negligent, to be so uncaring about your own people, you just have to be an evil person. I mean, you have to attribute it to that. Yes, Joe Biden's stupid, but he also just doesn't care. Okay? We care. You should like, share, and subscribe to our channel because we do care about you, and we will continue to fight for you. It's your boy Benny. Stay base.